your experience as a world-class athlete, going to the Olympics, and then at that time, most athletes, even distance runners, shorter was an anomaly. You were an anomaly. I remember the '76 trials and reading about stuff before then. Amby was still running. We're going, God, where are all these old guys doing stuff? I remember seeing you in 84, 85, and then I would see you at races every year. But you started getting involved in what I call really the third running movement, where you were taking, we always talk about the first running movement as being, John Jerome, the great writer, said one time that Frank Shorter invented running by putting 26 miles together at 5 minutes per mile. It's one of my favorite lines of all times. And it's just, beautiful, but you had Shorter, you had Rogers, you had these, I call them Pied Pipers in local areas and stuff like that. But you discovered things like you don't have to beat the heck out of yourself all the time. And in fact, you could do it longer. And you were able to take the intimidation and demystify running. That's what I credit you with. I think you told me that, was it your father that you got to do some running by doing 1 minute of walking and 1 minute of running?
You have a good memory. My father, I actually tried to get my father running for many years, and he gave me all types of excuses. He had gained a lot of weight. Just to give you an idea, well, he went to Munich to watch me run with my mom, and when he got over there, he saw a lot of people much older than he was in Germany and other parts of Europe. And they were just doing all types of walking, or in some cases, running and walking. Mm-hmm. And he came back and went to a reunion of his high school football team. Out of 25 guys, only 12 were alive at age 52, and they had all died of degenerative diseases, and his doctor had told him that he could very well be next. Wow. So he started running around the park in front of his office, one telephone pole to the next. He'd run, and then he'd walk, run, and then walk. And my method of run, walk, run was similar to that, and I had told him about that. But he hadn't picked up on that. He had to discover that himself with telephone poles. Yeah. But the bottom line on this third running boom, which I'm credited with igniting, is that I started collecting data on advice that I gave to runners. And over the years, it's now more than 500,000 runners who I've given advice to, and they've gotten back to me. And I tabulate all of these returns as to what works and what does not work. Well, I wrote my first book in '84, it was the time when we met. Yeah. And that book took over from Jim Fixx's book as being the bestseller. Yep. And to this day, it is the longtime bestseller among training books for running.
That's cool.
It's approaching 1 million copies now by itself. But in any case, the gist of my method was you didn't need to run more than 3 days a week. And I'm totally still convinced that you can run almost anything. Tony Sandoval, after his 1980 Olympic trials, dropped down to 3 days a week, dropped his mileage from 120 miles down to 40 miles a week for a full year, because he was in residency, his medical residency. And a year later from the trials, he ran the Boston Marathon in 2:14. And he's not alone. I know a lot of guys and women who have reduced their running significantly to 3 days a week, and they've improved their time. So that was one of the cornerstones. And it made running doable for people rather than think that they have to go out every day. But the other major shift that I introduced was a strategy for running and walking.
Okay.
Now, other people have used running and walking before, but there was no strategy associated with it. So what I did is collect the data and then give people advice as to how much running, how much walking they should do based on the pace per mile.
Yeah.
And we keep refining that, but the data is so significant now that it's very accurate. So we can really tell people what they should do based on what pace per mile they're capable of doing. And the other major complement to our method is a magic mile time trial, which is a reality check. And
Okay.
it has more than 80,000 instances of data behind it of
Wow.
people that have reported this 1 mile time trial and then what they've run in longer races that same season.
Wow.
So, between those three things, we can set up a training program that's very accurate and allows people a chance to avoid hitting the wall, getting exhausted, having injuries. We can take injuries away with Run, Walk, Run. And then finally, avoid puking too. I'm against puking.
Jeff, thank you.